Okay, this might be one of my more chronically online videos I have made, but if you've been on Twitter recently, you've probably seen people talking about Benjamin Solak's opinion on this specific play, the 4th down and 5 play with 2 minutes left in the Bills-Chiefs game. These were the two tweets that got everyone's attention. This is Benjamin Solak used to work for The Ringer, now works for ESPN. First, he said, no idea in all caps, why Josh Allen did not throw to orbit to Shakir, and then later went on to, in the tweet you see above, here's why I think Josh Allen should have thrown to swing to Khalil Shakir, and then goes on to explain that. So a lot of people are saying, why are you blaming Josh Allen for a play like this that honestly probably should have worked? Well, there is some nuances. We'll get into it. But first, Solak was getting crushed in the comments for this. I mean, people were telling him that he should lose his job, people making fun of his physical appearance. There was a lot of stuff going on. There were also some very funny memes that came out of all of this. PFT commenter said, I personally would have thrown a touchdown instead, but I guess some people are happy with the check down, which I thought was funny. This from the Ringer subreddit. I've watched a Zapruder film, and I've got no idea why JFK didn't throw a head fake to the left, which I think is very funny. And then the Ryan Russillo one always cracks me up. I actually came way more impressed with Solak's take on the Bills' 4th and 5. So some people having fun. All this is good. Some people just saying, hey, I think this is a bad take. That's always cool too. You know, you're allowed to give your opinions on other people's opinions on the internet. That's how the internet works. And obviously there were some people that were taking this too far, and even some former players got a hold of all of this. Will Compton said, great breakdown by someone who is sitting in a warm, comfy room who hasn't played a snap of football. Ryan Fitzpatrick starts off with a compliment by saying, I actually really like your passion and knowledge for the game, but sitting in your comfortable swivel chair with the heater on in the house and a clicker in your hand makes the game very easy. And while those two tweets are mostly fine, I mean, I would just push back a little bit and say, like, there is the inherent, like, obvious fact that, yes, sitting here, you know, doing what I do, doing what Benjamin Solak does, is 1,000 times easier than actually playing the game. Of course, like, I think that's just kind of obvious that it's easier to criticize something than it is to do something. I think that kind of goes without saying. But again, you're more than welcome to disagree with the take and even make jokes about the take. Then we got some more unhinged takes. I already brought up some of the people saying, like, some of the people commenting, saying that he should lose his job, making fun of his physical appearance, all that stuff. We had Ryan Leaf say, this right here is why, in full transparency, you have to post your address with these. Someone needs to put a boot in his ass. You work at ESPN, call Alex, call Dan, call Timmy H. Just call someone before you do this and lose whatever credibility you had. I'm serious, though. Someone go rough this kid up. See if he throws the orbit. Okay, Ryan Leaf, a little bit aggressive there, I would say. He did later apologize for this, saying it was a misguided attempt at humor. He did also in the original tweet specifically say, I'm serious, so it's not that crazy that people did not view this as an attempt at humor, Ryan. But nonetheless, okay, a lot of stuff going on. What actually was Solak's take that people are taking such an issue with? And why, was he right? Was there something that could have made sense that he says? And what actually should have happened on that play? Well, let's jump into it. So first, we have to talk about pass blocking and where you're shifting your protections. So Kurt Warner actually did a really good breakdown that I'm plagiarizing half of this stuff from him. So check that out on his Twitter account if you haven't already. That's really good. But essentially, the way this works is there are 6 players on the line. The Bills have 5 offensive linemen, which one thing I haven't really heard anyone criticize, but I'm going to here, is why do you have an empty backfield and no tight ends who can block on this play? You know Spagnuolo likes to send pressure. There should be a halfback, I think, ready to block. I don't really understand why they're not doing that in this situation, but they're not. So, okay, you have 5 offensive linemen, 6 players who could rush the passer. Well, you essentially have 2 options. You could leave the unblocked player on the edge to your right or to your left. On this play, they're leaving the unblocked player to their right. Now, that corner for the Chiefs is also going to be blitzing, and that kind of throws a wrench in all of this. This is the Steve Spagnuolo stuff, is having a corner blitz on this play, means that there's essentially 2 unblocked players on that side of the ball. One's kind of blocked off from our view by some other Chiefs players, but there are 2 guys on that side of the field who will be unblocked on this play. Now, on the other side of the field, the Bills do have a couple players that Josh Allen could look towards if he wants to. Shakir is faking as though he's going towards the top of the screen, going back towards the bottom of the screen. That is the orbit that Solak was saying should get thrown to. But the issue is, since pressure is going to be coming on the other side, Allen has to be looking towards the other side to see if pressure is coming. That has to be where he looks right away. And if there is pressure, he's going to have to make a decision right away, right? So what's on the other side of the field is just nowhere near as advantageous. You only have one receiver, and that's the route he's running, which is just, it's not even past the first down marker. Essentially, you don't have anything on that side of the field. Meanwhile, 4 of your receivers will end up going towards your left. So you would think, set your protection to protect you towards the right, and if there is pressure coming from the left, you can notice it right away and react to it. Watch as you see Allen takes the snap, and as of right here, he's looking down the field, and again, the one player who is on that side of the ball is not open. There is pressure in Allen's face. This is not what you want. Allen now has to completely play hero ball, which is, we'll talk about that in a second, but that's not what you're trying to accomplish here. So let's rewind. What if they did the other way, where they have their protection set towards the right? Keep in mind, a corner is still going to be blitzing off the edge, but you would assume that's a little further away. That would give you just enough time to throw a hot route if you have to. Kurt Warner said he would just throw the hot route regardless on this play if there's pressure or if there isn't, but you want to be looking towards the left, meaning you want to protect yourself from the right. Had Allen done that, he could have flipped it to Khalil Shakir, and they could have gained some yards. Now, here is one of the real issues where Solak went wrong, in my opinion. He showed some plays in his video of this route working and getting wide open, but those plays were against man coverage. This is against zones, so the Chiefs will have a linebacker who can run in and make a tackle. Now, receiver on linebacker, foot race, not the worst situation in the world, although on a 4th down and 5, do you want to trust that? I wouldn't hate it. Again, Kurt Warner says that's what he would do. I'm not one to argue with Kurt Warner, but at the same time, it wouldn't be fair to say this was a guaranteed first down anyway. This had a chance of being a first down. So let's show some other examples of this working. First, this one. This is Ravens-Dolphins. You see that this is a passing play, and the Dolphins are going to have a player blitz off the edge. Everyone else who could be showing pressure is accounted for towards Lamar's right. So watch how when Lamar Jackson takes the snap, he sees the pressure off the edge, is able to throw into that pressure and pick up the first down right there on a 3rd down and 7. It's not exactly a 1-for-1 from the last play. There definitely are differences, but that's essentially the philosophy. Not just that, but you can also do something like this if you really want to, which this is, so it's going to be a passing play. Players are in motion just because that's what the Lions do. They get creative. But you see Harrison Smith, the safety, he is the unblocked player that if everyone is rushing the passer, he is the guy who will get through untouched. That's what Goff knows to look for. Goff takes a snap, sees that Smith actually drops back into coverage, so because of that, he now knows he has someone to block everybody. Unless one of his teammates screwed up, he now can feel good about, okay, I have a little bit more time here, let's just run the play the way I want to, and therefore he's able to hit Amon-Ra St. Brown down the field, and they pick up a touchdown right there. Let's go back to the Bills-Chiefs play, though, because it's a little bit different, right? Because if Allen had set his protection to protect the right, it still wouldn't have worked because there was a cornerback blitzing. So had he decided to go towards his left, he would have had to just throw a hot route right away. He would have had to throw the ball out of his hands immediately, and he doesn't want to do that. He's Josh Allen. You don't want to take the ball out of his hands, and in fact, I think the Chiefs are kind of deliberately running this coverage in a way to force Allen to have to throw to someone else and hope that one of your players can make a tackle. That's kind of what they're doing here. So Allen takes a snap. I honestly think that he just thought that he could outrun one of the unblocked players. I think he said, you know what? Someone gets through untouched. I'm Josh Allen. That's not the worst thing in the world. But the cornerback blitz part is what I think fooled him. The fact there are now 2 unblocked players, now you can't really do anything. Now you just have to play hero ball. So I think that had there been a back in the game who can block right there, part of me wonders if Allen is able to get a little bit more time and make a clean throw to a wide open receiver that he has right now, Dalton Kincaid. The other factor that obviously we have to mention is this play should have worked. Watch as Josh Allen, while under pressure, has to play hero ball and successfully does. He gets one to Dalton Kincaid, who just can't make the grab. So to me, that's kind of where I mostly land. I understand Kurt Warner's thought thought of just throw it to Shakir, make sure you set your protection so you can do that. I kind of understand Solak's thought, but I think it probably wasn't his best take. I get why there's some criticism, although I do think people are going too far, saying he should lose his job, making fun of his physical saying that he should put his address out so someone can beat him up. That feels a bit rough, I would say. But for me, kind of where I land on it is I think there should have been again, it's always easier to say in hindsight, and it's always easier to say when you're in a heated house with a comfy chair, although I'm in Florida, so it's not that hot out anyway, but or not that cold out anyway, but obviously it's always easier to do all that stuff. I think there should have been someone else blocking. I think that Spagnuolo likes to blitz. You should have been more prepared for that, in my opinion. I don't hate the idea of saying you should throw a hot route, but also, ultimately, what Josh Allen still did should have worked. You got to make the catch. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, you're allowed to criticize people online without being mean about it. That's something that just because someone says something stupid doesn't give you free reign to be mean. That's just how I view that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on all of this. What do you think of this controversy and the play itself, which is a fun play to talk about? But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.